All right. Well, it's the top of the hour here on the West Coast in Los Angeles. So I want to go ahead and get started. And thank you to everyone who is in attendance today for our Biomedical Engineering Admitted Student webinar. My name is William Schwerin, Senior Director of Graduate Recruitment here in the Viterbi School of Engineering within the Admissions and Student Engagement Office. I'm thrilled to be joined today by a number of my colleagues, and some current students are actually joining us today also. So um, they're going to be answering your questions. Hopefully you have some questions. Think of some questions for them because they are, our star guests. They've been in your shoes, know what it's like to have multiple offers, and they decided to enroll at USC within the biomedical engineering program at USC. So I do want to thank them in advance for joining. The way that the program will flow this afternoon is, I have some slides. I'll go through them relatively quick, but then I'm going to hand it off to our departmental advisor for the BME department, William Yang. Thank you, William, for joining me today. And yeah, without further ado, I guess I do want to let you all know that we will be recording this webinar as well. So it'll take us a couple of days to get it up on our website. So if there's anything that you just want to go back and review, you'll have the opportunity to do so as well. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Congratulations on your admission and welcome to the Trojan family. We're really excited this is a really exciting time of year. We have a number of students who apply, and to be able to share in the joy of the admissions process and congratulate students is something that I personally really like. So congratulations and welcome to USC. We're University of Southern California, and you are admitted into the USC Viterbi School of Engineering. So some considerations, as I mentioned, USC might be one of the schools that you're admitted to, and maybe you're waiting on admission decisions from other schools, but we like to just kind of help students in the thought process of what to consider, which school to consider when you're considering schools. That's a lot of considers, but obviously you want to think about your career and academic goals upon completion of your graduate study. Location, USC is located in Los Angeles. We're a big city. Are you the type of person who wants to be in a big city? So just kind of think about that. The alumni networks, obviously USC is very strong alumni networks, but just networking, on LinkedIn and the strength of the alumni networks is something that is worthwhile considering, that we believe. And then if there's any interest in research, the research opportunities, William might touch on that. A lot of times when you apply for jobs, they want you to have research experience, but if you're fresh out of college, you might not have research experience. So research opportunities that might exist in a graduate program as well. If rankings are something that you're into, USC is ranked in a number of different areas across a number of different ranking systems. So just kind of take that into consideration. One of the things that we're really, the university really focuses on is like the cross-disciplinary education. So, how engineering especially kind of branches out into multiple areas, health and medicine and all over the map. Our school president, Dr. Carol Folt, she recently announced new university initiatives in computing and health sciences. And we're really excited about the new Center for Generative AI. That's part of Frontiers in Computing, which will reach all of our different school departments within the School of Engineering. These are just some more demographic informations, that you can kind of take note of. I mentioned the Frontiers of Computing. So we're currently in the process of building this really nice computer science building. But as I mentioned, it's going to trickle down into other areas of engineering, including the biomedical engineering program. So I'll tell you a little bit more about Los Angeles, our location. Obviously, Los Angeles is a big metropolitan city, probably the second largest in the US. Um, we're really centrally located. So you see this map here um, called Silicon Beach. So basically what that is a lot of the tech companies in the Silicon Valley, Northern California, I like to say they realized how nice the beaches are down in Southern California and opened up a lot of offices down here. And because of that, they have the term, they coined the term Silicon Beach. So it's really nice for our students because a lot of times um, students, if they get an interview at any of these places, it's not like they have to go very far. It's just a short drive, um, you know, from campus to these locations. They don't have to take a flight all day to travel for an interview. So just some things to take into consideration as well. Obviously, we want students to be active and enjoy the weather here in Los Angeles. So it's sunny and beautiful. You We don't experience snow. So I tell students, if you want to experience snow, you choose to go to the snow. The snow doesn't come to you per se. So um, you can go to a number of options. The closest is probably an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So just kind of other factors to keep in mind. If you're an active lifestyle individual, Los Angeles is a great place for that. And I like to tell students that, for a young person, Los Angeles is a lot of fun because there's so much to do and really engage in outside of your time here for studying. Um, these are just, again, some other things to explore within Los Angeles: museums, hiking. There's obviously the beaches, along with a lot of theme parks as well. So really something for everyone, as well as some really great food. I want to talk for a minute about our Viterbi Career Connections office. So at the university level, we have a career office. Um, Within the engineering school, we also have a career office, which is named the Viterbi Career Connections office. They do a really great job. They're a resource for our engineering students specifically, and they are very active in hosting workshops and events. Twice a year, they have large career fairs in which companies attend, and sometimes companies choose not to attend the career fairs and would rather host private information sessions. So they do that as well. But just as I mentioned, they are very active, and we always encourage students to take advantage because you're here for a short amount of time for your master's program. It goes by really quick. And so this office puts on a number of programming options for students to really network and try to help students get that position in industry that they might be looking for. As you can see here, just providing a little backup to how busy and how much they are involved for the students specifically. So whether you're an undergraduate student or a graduate, master's, or PhD student, this office is there to assist students. If you are interested in finding out more information about career outcomes on our website, actually on the individual degree program pages, we do have, we've pulled from surveys of students. They're voluntary surveys because we don't place students into positions. So we don't have a 100% response rate, unfortunately, but from the students who do respond to us, we collect that information and post it on our website. Just going through, I can go through each of these companies, but I really want to get to the department. So one other program that I think is worthwhile mentioning is our Viterbi Graduate Mentorship Program. So for incoming master's students, this is a really nice program because it's basically current master's students who almost act like, well, they do act like a mentor. If you have any questions, help you get acclimated to Los Angeles or USC, to kind of bridge that gap. Because a lot of students may be coming from out of state or even out of country, which can be a little nerve-wracking. We are very well aware, so we try to have programs and resources in place to help alleviate some of those concerns. We have a mobile app, the university does, and the Viterbi School of Engineering participates in it. It's called Engage SC, and it's a mobile app for USC students to find out what's happening on campus, if there's any clubs or activities, events taking place. So it's a place and a mobile app where you can really get involved and see what's going on. Just some more pictures from in and around campus, as I mentioned. Safety at USC. There is kind of a patrol zone. USC has Department of Public Safety, because safety is the school's top priority of its for its students. And we partner with Lyft as well to take students to and from if they want to have a ride back to their apartment or wherever they're living within a 2-mile radius of campus. And I'd say, in terms of housing, most students live just off of campus, just north of campus. There's some limited on-campus housing for graduate students, but it's on kind of a lottery system basis, so it's not kind of a guarantee. So most students end up finding housing just off campus, and that would be a great question for our panelists or for our students who are joining. Maybe a little bit later they can talk about how they were able to find and secure housing. Statement of intent, we would encourage you, as soon as you're decided, go ahead and submit your statement of intent, because what happens is our engagement office within the engineering school will start sending you information about orientation, our Viterbi mentorship program, how to join that, and have other webinars that you can sign up for. So the deadline to submit your statement of intent obviously is not until April 15th, but just keep that in mind, that the sooner you get that decision made, if you do choose to enroll at USC, you will receive some of this information. I think that's all I wanted to talk to you about. I'm just going through some of these slides. One last thing, actually, the student ambassadors. We have stellar student ambassadors. A couple of them are joined on this webinar here today. On our website, you can find a list of over 20 different student ambassadors that we have, that they have volunteered basically this is their job, to talk to prospective students and students who have been admitted who have questions. So you can always come back if you think after this webinar is concluded. You can always go back to our website and chat with some of our student ambassadors. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to stop sharing now. Hello, and I want to say hi to William and ask him to go ahead and introduce himself and take it from here.
Awesome. Thank you, William. William number 2 here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're at in the world. We are so happy that you're here, and welcome to USC. I want to apologize in advance. I do have a post-nasal drip thing going on, so I might be coughing in and out. And also, for some reason, my camera, after I moved into my new office, it does auto-zoom a lot. So please try to disregard me zooming in and out. I'm not playing with the camera. The camera's doing some weird things since I got to my office. Anywho, so I'm going to go over about 11 slides. And if you have any questions or concerns or anything you just want to ask about, feel free to enter it in the chat box below the Zoom. There's a question and answer box. Feel free to type it in there so everyone can see what you want to ask. Maybe they have something that they're thinking of and they're not quite sure how to say it. So that way we can answer and address anything you may want to ask. I like to be transparent with my students and even my prospects. We are here to answer questions so you can make your informed decision before you decide where do you want to go for your next journey and chapter in life in pursuing an advancing degree. I know some schools like to push you to come to or go to their school. I'm not here to persuade you to come to USC. I'm here to give you all the information that you would like to know. Again, I'm here to be transparent. I want you to have all the information before you decide so you can make that informed decision, because that is very important. Okay. Let's see. Where's my selection of the button? Did it change? Okay, there. So in our department, we were founded in the 1970s. It actually started in the 60s back at the electrical engineering department as a specialization. So after a few years in the electrical department, it got so popular, it just became its own entity in the 70s. And eventually we had our own building and we have nonstop growing from there. As you can see, this photo is last year's Biomedical Engineering Society conference. Our students very active, engaged in different conferences. They are there to network, not only just for personal reasons, but also for professional networking and growth. And that's what we are here to help train our students to really look into what's out there for you. I know for undergrads and for our master's students, there's some sort of discrepancy, where should I go next? What should I do? Like William mentioned earlier, the master's degree program, it's really short. So you'll have a short amount of time to really gain that experience necessary for you to really advance forward in your career and to be really competitive in this economy. So we'll go on a little bit more and ask our ambassadors too about their experience. But we have a total of about 140 master's students, 124 PhD students, and about 255 undergraduate students in our department. We are not the largest, but we are not the smallest. We're just right in the middle of all the other 7 departments combined. Okay. This is our department chair, Dr. Peter Wang. He joined us a little bit over a year ago from UC San Diego. He does a lot of research on CAR T cells, so a lot of non-solid tumor research. Basically, you're re-engineering cells from a person, and then you re-engineer so it can attack the cells when you reintroduce to the person. So you're really looking into immunotherapy and a lot of types of therapeutics that are innovative to help treat diseases that may not currently been established. So we have many faculty who do a lot of novel research, and this is something I like to emphasize to all of you. You're looking to gaining some experience, especially if you come from undergrad and don't have internship or some sort of research background, or let's say you want to advance into going to medical school, or you want to go to pharmacy, dental school, or even a PhD program. It is highly encouraged that you do start getting involved right now, even before you sign that statement of intent. Maybe you should look at some faculty member in our department and see if their research is something you're interested in pursuing. Cold email them, say you have been admitted, but you have not decided to come to USC yet. Maybe you want to start a conversation and see if there's some sort of prospect of getting some experience in the university research laboratory. I always tell students, if you don't have internship as a master's student, at the minimum, please gain some university level research. Because when you go interview for internships or even for other jobs, R&D quality or any process engineering position, they always question if you have some sort of research background or industry experience. So we are here to guide you through the process to really gain those experience that you need in order to move forward. In our department, we have 3 fantastic advisors. Daisy De Leon is actually the master's advisors. I'm just stepping in for her today. She could not make it, and would like to tell everyone and give everyone their best regards. She is the assistant director for student graduate advising, and she is also the student engagement. She worked primarily with the master student population in our department. Then we have Christopher No. He is the director of the undergraduate affairs, and he is responsible for all bachelor students. And for me, I am the associate director of graduate affairs. So I oversee the PhD and the master's program, but I primarily advise the PhD students. But sometimes, as needed, I will help out with the master's students just in case there are certain things that Daisy wasn't sure of, or she needs further adjudication and evaluation to help students succeed in our programs. Hi again. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box. Now, in our department, we're going to go over mostly the master's programs at the moment, and then we'll kind of talk about the doctoral program a little bit. But we have 4 master's programs, starting with the first original, most popular program is the Biomedical Engineering master's degree. This program allows you to choose technical electives more freely, which you can design and specialize in certain areas you would like to focus in. We do have many students who come from the industry. Let's say they've been in the industry, want to make a small career move within the company. Let's say Medtronic. I'm just throwing a name out there. And they are, let's say they gain a position in research and development, but would like to be a consultant or move forward to a project management role. So we will help you design maybe a course work pathway toward project management. So that usually comes down to your technical elective, and you will select specialty or specialization courses that can also include regulatory affairs, quality, research specific, business related entrepreneurship. It really allows students to design what they want. So that's something important here. What we do is the first thing we ask during orientation is, what do you want to do with this degree? What do you want to do 10 years from now and 20 years from now? And I tell students all the time, we tend to overestimate what we can do in 1 year, and we way underestimate what we can do in 20 years. So if you just focus on one thing a year, over the 20 years, you have accomplished 20 major things versus trying to cram a bunch of major things in 1 year. A lot of times students get overwhelmed and then they just drop it completely. So we provide coaching and to help you guide through the process of selecting the right major or even sometimes this concentration. So in a general Master's of Biomedical Engineering, it requires 28 units where you have 17 core requirements of courses, which is 5. And you can take it out of order. You don't have to take in any particular order. It depends on your schedule and your interest at the time. And then you will have to complete the remainder of 11 units of technical electives. As I mentioned earlier, that can go toward your specialization, or you can create your own theme. This is, it's not going to be documented on a transcript, and not going to be posted in your diploma, but it gives you some sort of dialogue when you interview. They may ask what you focus your studies on, or what did you specialize in? So you can say, I specialize in project management or regulatory affairs. Again, it depends what you want, and we'll try to help you design a curriculum that works for you and your future. And it's offered through DEN. What that means is DEN stands for Distant Education Network, which is an online program for some students who are overseas or in a different state. Or even if you work full-time, it's harder for you to come to campus in person to study. So we allow this mechanism where you can study online while you're working full-time. And there's no difference when you get your diploma. It will be the same as if you're in person or online. And the thesis option is all like the thesis component is optional. So a lot of times students, feel like, when they first come in, I want to come in to take classes, earn my degree, and get out. But after networking and then meet with other faculty members and professional networking areas, they realize, they would like to pursue a thesis, and that's fine. You just need to talk to Daisy, and she will guide you through the process on how to look for research and how do you start the thesis process. And then you will actually have to create a document, you do write a proposal, and you do actually have to defend that. So it is optional. I know some traditional school either have a comprehensive exam, and another school may have a thesis component. You have to choose either or. Our second master's program is the second most popular, is Medical Device and Diagnostic Engineering. We call it for short MDDE. And this program has 3 different tracks that you do ultimately have to select, either in regulation, medical technology and device science track, or product development. So it really depends, and we will help students guide which track works best for the other, and we'll guide you throughout the process when you choose your courses. This program does require 28 units, and it's being renovated or revamped at the moment. So things may change a little bit to enhance a better learning experience for our students. So there will be more like a cohort sort of kind of program where whoever comes in with MDTE will exit together with the MDTE program, and it does not have an online delivery mechanism at the moment, because this is more immersive with labs and other innovative hands-on experience in mind. And this also no thesis component is actually available at the moment with this new curriculum revamped, just because it's more hands-on to give our students more practical skills that they will need in the industry. Our third master's program is the Master's of Science in Biomedical Data Analytics. This is one of our newest programs that we started about 3 years ago. It requires 28 units, 20 required units, about 5 classes. Each class is about 4 units, and you choose about up to 8 technical elective units, which is about 2 to 3 classes, depending which class you want to take. It is not offered through DEN at the moment. And again, you can do a thesis option if you're in person, if you would like to advance your career with a research, just like a document, just to certify that you have done research, and that way, if you do apply for a PhD program later, it may help you to become more competitive. In our last master's program, which is the Medical Imaging and Imaging Informatics, we call it MIII for short. also requires 28 units, 20 required core units, and 8 technical elective. Just like the other master's program, it does have an online option, and you may conduct or complete a thesis option while you're here. Now, a lot of students do have a common question is, if you're admitted for the general BME masters and suddenly after one semester you want to change to a different master's program, that is highly possible. You just need to speak with Daisy so we know that you can, the classes that you've taken does transfer to another degree, so you're not wasting time in unit. There is a question, I'm gonna read it to everyone and try to answer it. When it comes to balancing academic and social life, how reasonable and difficult is it? It depends. That's a really great question. So we focus on students' well-being and wellness. We are trained life coaches here and career coach. We want to make sure that our students are having fun. We understand everyone in my department here do study really hard. It depends on your work course load. So we do recommend students to enroll in 2 classes. 2 classes is about 8 units, which is full-time. And there's a lot of work. I know some students who come from undergrad from like Ivy Leagues and some other institution, and they've taken 20 units, which is average for them as an undergrad. But when they get to a graduate degree, they can, 20 units and 8 units, that's a big difference. Should I take more classes? And we advise students to stick with the 2 classes. You will finish on time, maybe even earlier, but don't take more than 2 graduate level courses because it is a little bit difficult when you want to add in the social life balance because it is a lot of work. It depends on your interests. Going back to the balance itself, there's just so many different diverse personalities, clubs around here. It depends what you want to do and what does balance mean to you, right? So I do establish a 12-8-4 rule for my students, 12 hours personal time per day, 8 hours of work time, and 4 hours of social life. I mean, that can shift around throughout the week, but it really depends on what your needs are. And we're here to listen. Sometimes you want to start with one class, part-time student, or go full-time, depending on your interest, how quickly you want to finish the program. It really depends on your interest, and everyone's different. So I can't really say, this is one way, this is the other way, but we're here to listen to see what works best for you. And we will encourage students to find certain resources, and that's what we have to help students transition from taking graduate level courses and finding hobbies to really have a better work-life balance. Hopefully that answers that question. Again, everyone's very different. And then we're here to talk to you. And I feel like this is something I want to disclose. I know I'm just rambling at this point. Our department, we have a good relationship with our students. It's up to the students to work with us, to talk with us. But I feel like I'm connected to my students, and we do have a really great conversation about life in general. So you're at this age where adulting takes place, life happens, and then we have students who get married, they have kids, things happen, and we understand. So we are here to help you. There are strict guidelines, but we will help you figure things out to navigate through challenges, to help design your own pathway, something that works best for you. I always tell students, keep an open mind, because a lot of people when they're younger, they have a mindset of, I want to be this, I want to be that, this one specific now. And a lot of times that locks you in and limits you from other opportunities. At USC, we have so many beneficial resources, and we tell our students, just keep an open mind for now, because you don't know who you're going to meet next. You don't know who you're going to meet. Some CEOs that might transform you to a different role that you did not believe you would go into. So keep an open mind, because anything happen at USC. I call USC the Disneyland of universities, where dreams come true, where your life comes true, or things can build up from there. Any question about the master's program? And just to give a brief background about who I am, because a lot of students like to know my background. So for my undergraduate study, I said at UC Riverside, I received my bachelor's degree in biological sciences and minored in music. And then I received my first master's degree in bioengineering, also at UC Riverside, where soon after I worked as a biochemical engineer in the industry for a short year and a half, until I discovered I don't like being a research and development engineer. So I decided to go back to education to get my second master's in project management through the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, where I will start managing more bigger projects. I like to guide, stakeholders and help people move one point A to point B. Ever since I came back to the the university, I get moved into their different progressive role because I'm keeping my mind open, and because USC as a staff member and just Los Angeles itself, we have so many opportunities for students to grow. Sometimes you just have to discover yourself by allowing yourself to be more open-minded. I'm actually finishing my third master's degree in law this summer, so I didn't have any intention to get these many master's degree. I just kept an open mind, and if it's obtainable and is achievable and I have a life balance, I'm going to do it, right? So we are here to teach you how do you maximize your potential here at USC, because there's just so much you can do. And I try to tell my students the same thing. I'm a professional musician on the side. How I'm able to do this will work in other things I'm doing. Again, it's a matter of science. The work-life balance works out for everyone as long you keep an open mind and be okay if failure happens. Something I always tell, another thing I tell my students is life does get better, but it doesn't make it easier. Always give it curiosity, explore through those matters, because you don't want to regret not trying. How many times have each individual here today have said to themselves, shoulda, woulda, coulda, I should have done this, I should have done that, right? That hurts us more than failing something we actually tried. So we push our students to try. I try to, at least I tried. You cannot blame yourself for not trying, right? And we have a question in the chat box. Will we be able to get some good research experience studying MDDE, as I am interested to pursue a PhD in the future? That's a really great question. Yes, you can. That's something I would highly, highly encourage every single student here today, even who are not here today, if you're watching this video. If you're interested in research, our faculty would love to speak to you to see what your research interests align with. Go into our website, go onto the faculty page, and start reading their biography and their research links. If a particular faculty's research background or what they do in their lab resonates with you, email them. Tell them, hey, I'm an incoming master's student in the fall. I would like to gain some experience and devote maybe a year or two in your lab. Would you be open to that? A lot of students do end up in a lab, but you have to be committed. I think it depends what your exposure was like in undergrad. Everyone's different. Some people, just were given directions versus some students were given, here's a project, now make it your own. There's two type of thought. There's a tech where you're just given instructions. There's a, variable, and here's the outcome, versus here's a problem, find your own solution. So yes, every student in BME do have opportunities to gain research experience, not just only in our department, but also joint appointment faculty member. Meaning you can have to, if you're interested in MRI, we just so happen a faculty member at the electrical engineering department, Dr. Krishna Nair from Stanford. If you are interested in his research, particularly in MRI, email him. Maybe he would like to have you join his lab. And over, after a period, working in the lab, and you really like, and he, you get along with him, you get along with the lab, maybe you can start talking about pursuing a doctoral program or maybe going industry. If you're interested in doing more like cancer research or pharmaceutical therapy research, maybe look at some faculty at stem cell or a school of pharmacy. So you're not limited only to our department, but look beyond that. And this is where you need to speak with Daisy when you enter our program, especially in the fall orientation. Mention that to her, because she does take notes and she will guide you to how you approach these faculty members. But even right now, start thinking about what do you want to do with this degree? Because getting a master's degree, it's kind of one of those catch-22 moments. You need the experience to get the job, but you need the job to get the experience. So you need to ask yourself, what are you going to do with this degree? All right? What's the next? What do you want to do in 10 years? What do you see yourself in 10 years? You want to live in a nice area, buy a nice home? Okay, how are we going to get there? It's always the how that gets more difficult, because you got to navigate through all the difficulties, and the ending is always going to be there. There's always going to be an ending, an output, but it's the how. You will have the what, but how you're going to get there, right? So we're here to help you develop the how in that sense, if that makes sense to all of you. But yes, to answer that question, if you're interested in research, start looking on our website, bme.usc.edu. Start looking at the professor's research and start emailing them that you are coming, in the fall and would like to commit and dedicate yourself as a volunteer. Sometimes it can be paid, but dedicate to strictly learning and gaining skills as a researcher, as a young scientist. The general academic policy at USC, which is kind of similar in other universities here in the States, every student must maintain a 3.0 cumulative and a major GPA when they are here at USC in order to obtain the degree. Students must enroll in at least 1 unit per semester in the fall and the spring, because summer is an optional semester, to maintain the continuous enrollment policy, and that's the university policy. Students, domestic students who have financial aid, if you are part-time, you must enroll in at least a minimum of 4 units. Full-time, it's 8 units. For international students, your first semester and your last semester, you can enroll actually part-time. You just need to apply for a request for reduced course load, and more of this information will be provided at orientation. But for international students, you are required to register full-time 8 units every fall and spring, not summer, because that's optional. But if it's your first semester, we understand the transition. There can be some language barriers and some cultural barriers. Students sometimes opt to take 1 class instead of 2, but you do have to request a reduced course load, or RCL, through the international office, just so you can make sure you're maintaining proper immigration F1 visa policies. Okay, so if you have more information and questions like that are concerned, feel free to contact me or Daisy. We'd be more than happy to address any concerns you may have. Again, and in your last semester, again, you can apply for research reduced course load. It makes sense. If your last semester here and you have 2 units left, we are not going to force you to take a full load. It's not fair. It's up to you. If you want to take more classes, we don't mind, as long as you don't mind. But most students in the last semester, they take like 2 or 3 units, even maybe 1 class. So you do have to apply and request for reduced course load to make sure you're maintaining a proper immigration guidelines. You have a total of completion of 5 years to complete your master's degree. So time extension may be permitted depending it's case by case scenario, but most students don't finish in 5 years. Most students finish maximum 3 years, even if they take their time, because we have a lot of adults, families with kids, so they may take 1 class per semester and they stretch it out as long as possible. They will still finish in 3 years. Leave of absence, if that's needed, you just need to have a discussion with Daisy or myself. We'll walk you through the process. Again, any questions you have, we are your first point of contact. So we're gonna make sure you are doing things correctly, so that way, you are able to be successful while you're under our university system. I see a question here. Is there a unit count for master's degree program? There's generally no, but because for international students, there is actually a cap, because it depending on when your I-20 expires, and usually give you like 2 years. So let's say you receive your I-20 and expires like May 2026, and by May 2026, and let's say you're done 1 semester prior, because your I-20 does not expire for another semester, you can technically take classes. But the moment you're near or approaching your expiration date of your I-20, the international office will not allow you to extend your I-20 for any longer. So it depends when your I-20 expires, but in general, we don't cap our programs, because some of our students are really, really motivated and they want to learn more, especially through the regulatory policy department. They are. I have students who go beyond 28. I think I have 1 student going to take up to 34 and 36. But because their I-20 is not going to expire until May, technically they were done last semester, but they want to stay and learn and take more classes. That's possible. So I would say there's no maximum, but we try to limit our students to at least 36. We just don't want the students to take too many courses and not be able to finish. We want to push you and help you, guide you to start looking for jobs too. It's a full package service that we're providing. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. I have about 5 more slides left. So research, to answer for all the students who are thinking about research, again, we have so many professors, over 20 core faculty members and over 50 affiliated. As I mentioned earlier, Dr. Krishna Nayak, affiliated with us because he has a primary appointment at the electrical engineering department, but has a secondary department with us. So you are allowed to conduct research with under our department, because BME is so, it kind of dabbles everywhere into different departments. It's an interdisciplinary subject. So you can go into cell tissue, but also that cell tissue can go to an organ on a chip, like Dr. Megan McCain from Harvard, what she does, tissue engineering with organ on a chip. Now, recently she expanded to uterus cell, endometrium cells, and device and imaging. It can also switch and go into data and computational analysis. So it depends on your focus. A lot of things does intertwine to different topics. because BME just touches everything. So we have faculty at computer science. We have faculty members at aerospace and mechanical engineering. Again, don't limit yourself to biomedical engineering. We have students who have graduated and with at JPL, at NASA, building spacesuits, or at Apple, making Apple watches. Anything to do with life in general with signal and systems is a biomedical instrument. Even your phone, your cell phone, technically some component, like I think there's the light measuring your heart rate. That's part of biomedical engineering, but it's also electrical engineering, computer science. So keep an open mind. Again, asking yourself, what do you want to do? So these are frequently asked questions. Can I transfer units to my degree? So unfortunately, we do not allow any units to be transferred from another master's degree. But if you have a master's degree already, we may be able to waive certain requirements. We may be able to waive certain prerequisites and allow you to take certain classes. Again, it takes time. Just let us know. Everyone's different. And we understand we are here to allow you to take classes that pertains to your interest versus why should you take classes that you have taken yet? So we will work with you in order to find a better solution. You know, how can we benefit you with our resources, right? So definitely talk to Daisy or myself if you're not sure if you can transfer units, or at least find some sort of course equivalent so we can allow you to take other courses to substitute for those certain core requirements here at USC. Feel free to ask any question in the chat box or unmute yourself if there's an option. Feel free to start talking. Second question, can I change my major within BME? I kind of dabbled into that earlier. So let's say you're admitted in the Master's of Biomedical Data Analytics, your first semester, and you want to change to something else before you take classes. We do advise our students, please spend at least one semester in your initial program before making the switch the following semester. Because sometimes, you know, a lot of things happen, you know, sometimes overwhelming. You want to make the change. But what if you, after you make the change and then 2 semesters later and you want to change it back? We can do that, but the registrar's office don't like that. So what we want to make sure the students are making informed decisions before we make the final switch, maybe at the end of their 4th semester, maybe after 1st semester. It really depends. So that's why we will maintain this conversation. Please talk to Daisy. If you're not sure, you can talk to me as well. Again, we do have a strong background in many different focuses to help students find the best route to their, you know, really meet their goals in life. Again, you can switch within the BME department, talk to us, but we do ask students to spend at least one semester in their initial program first before making that request. Third question, can I take courses in other departments? Yes. Why should you not? You know, depending on your background, we have students coming from neuroscience background, biological sciences, electrical engineering, botany, you know, depending on, again, back to your interest, what classes do you need? If you're interested in project management, we will refer you to the ISE department, the Industrial System and Engineering, where they have a project management for engineers and some other courses like product development if you want to go into, you know, consulting. Again, it's possible to take classes at other department as long as it pertains to your interest and it pertains to your degree. Obviously, you cannot take a language course or a dance course. I have gotten those requests in the past. Obviously, you cannot take a dance course to apply to your master's degree here. It has to be a relevant course pertaining to biomedical engineering. Okay. Oh, I have a question here. Could you elaborate on switching to MDDE before the first semester? Yes. So if you, let's say, admitted to BMDA, the Biomedical Data Analytics, and you're not sure, and actually you want to go into the MDDE program after hearing my spiel, talk with Daisy. We do emphasize the reason why you have to speak with Daisy first year of an academic advisor, because we want to make sure that you are taking classes that actually can transfer to the MDDE program. More or less, 1 or 2 classes will count for either degrees, but we don't want you to take a class that doesn't count, right, when you make the switch. So in the, let's say you're in the BMDE program, and there's a specific BME course that applies to that degree. But also, if you are interested in switching to MDDE, we want you to remain in that initial program first, take a class to actually transfer to MDDE, and see how you like it. That way, if you do like that course, or you talk to someone professional and you're like, you know what, maybe I don't want to switch my degree program. At least now you know you can stay in your initial program. But let's say after that program, you meet people, you realize, you know what, I really want to make the switch. Now you know that course itself can also count to the MDDE degree. So start with Daisy, talk about what do you want to do your degree. Maybe there are a lot of things you haven't discussed yet, but she can open your mind to some other creative thoughts to, hey, maybe I can take this course to account for another different degree program, maybe NIII. Things change. A lot of students who come with a certain intent do end up changing their mindset because you meet so many and you're exposed to so many different things that happens around here. Okay, so hopefully that answers that question. Again, start your conversation with Daisy in the summer or even prior or during the summer orientation. It is important to let her know that you are interested, but you're not sure yet. We are here to provide you with all the information you need to see if you really want to switch to that program. I mean, we can always switch you back after 3 semester in, but we want to make sure that the courses do count, so you're not wasting time or effort, because I know how it feels, because classes are expensive, and we want you to take like classes that's right for you and it's meant for you to move forward in your life. We don't want you to take classes just because. Okay, great question. Something we like to always emphasize on, please get involved. You're not here just to pay tuition to come to school. We have so many things to do in Los Angeles. It's so diverse. It's so safe around here. I grew up around here. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. I love USC. I love UCLA. I know some people don't like when I say that. Honestly, there's just so much. That's why I haven't really moved anywhere, because I like the opportunity that's available here. But it's up to you to find those opportunities, because sometimes you can't just sit and wait for opportunity to come to you. No one's going to discover you. You have to discover. We teach you. We have workshops about marketing you, how to write your resume, how to interview. It is important how we give you and teach you and guide you, please. It can be overwhelming. So we try to do things one step at a time. Yes, 2 years can be quick, but if you break it down, again, remember, come up with realistic goals. Don't underestimate what you can do in 2 years, right? Don't overestimate what you can do in a semester. Start with one goal. Maybe your first goal is to meet more people, right? Second semester, maybe, okay, I'm gonna find internships, right? So find one thing, small, doable goals, because you will accomplish much more in that sense versus trying to cram everything in one semester. Okay. Attend events. We have a lot of social engagement activities such as tea time. This is where we have a lot of food and snacks. We invite our master student population and the PhD students. So a lot of times students will mingle, bounce ideas about research. Sometimes you guys will get into discussion of things I don't even know about. They do. Our students are very creative, very. We have very active students in politics. We have students who are active in dancing. There's just so much you can do at USC beyond that. So we always want our students to get involved, just get to expose what we can offer and what beneficial other resources that we might not be able to tell you. I have a question here. Hey, Will, how large are the class sizes for MDDE courses? BME classes, for example, great question. So at USC, our classes are relatively small. Their class ratio to a faculty member is about 1 faculty to 20 students. Our students don't ever have any issues getting into our BME courses, because that's a really great question. I want to go into the registration. So my undergraduate experience, traumatizing, is a bigger university, 500 people in a class. You get a registration appointment time, you fight to get in a class. And usually we crash the internet, right? I'm sure some of you may have experienced that going to undergrad. You have to you freak out about registration. Here at USC, we have a thing called department clearance, which means every single course has some sort of restriction, meaning we will not allow anyone to register until we have our new students register first, and then our continuing students. Once you're registered and there's space available, then we may allow non-BME students to register in their classes. So a lot of times the classes are smaller, not because no one is interested in taking the courses. We just made it that way so our students don't have to stress out about getting our classes. Obviously, some classes are more popular than others, but if that course is let's say the capacity is 20, but you're in a room that fits up to 50 people, and you really want to take this course, so I'll talk to the faculty. Hey, I have a lot of students who really want to enroll in your course. You want to increase your capacity a little bit? If the faculty agrees, then we'll increase it so that we can register for the classes. So the classes usually on average, it's about 20 students. I mean, some classes, I guess the undergrad, a little bit larger, no more than 100, but usually our class average size is about 20. I mean, give or take, depending each semester. Hopefully that answered that questions. But again, that's BME. Even at ISE, I know the computer science, certain courses, do have like 1,000 students, but because it's computer science, are a larger department. Okay, great question. Again, research experience, internship, the moment, even before you enter our program, before you even submit the statement of intent, look at jobs right now as if you're applying for jobs. I always tell this to every single new master's student. Look at the job requirements and qualification. What do you need? Can we do that for you? Can we teach you and guide you in regards to getting classes that fit your need? A lot of time, old school train of thought, traditionally, we get a degree, and follow what the school tells you to take, and we hope and dreams to apply for a job that fit their criteria. That limits you. What if you go backwards? Start looking at jobs as if you're applying, you have your master's degree already. Just pretend. Look at the qualification. What are they asking for? Do you need to learn about certain FDA regulation, ISOs, or certain technical skills? Look at the jobs right now. A lot of times they don't change. They may add, but look at different companies and for the same exact position. I can guarantee you project management and other skills you will need. Get those, jot those down, and then take that with you when you meet Daisy and see what classes fit those kind of qualifications, because it is important that you take classes that kind of revolves around what you want to go in the future. And join our student organization. We have many clubs here, but the two most popular ones is the Graduate Students of Biomedical Engineering, GSBME for short, or abbreviated, and the Viterbi Graduate Students Association, VGSA. Many of our students are very involved. And yeah, so I'm going to leave the floor. I know we have like 9 minutes left, and we have our student ambassador here. Feel free to chime in if you want to.
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and have the ambassadors introduce themselves, since we are, man, time went by fast. I want to
I just
welcome
talk.
Alan and Sharanya. Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe Sharanya, if you don't mind introducing yourself, where you're from, what you're studying.
Hi guys, I'm Sharanya. I'm pursuing biomedical engineering general, and I'm from Mysore, Karnataka, India. So yeah,
Thank you.
that's me. I'm in my second semester.
Okay. And Alan?
Sure. Hey everyone, my name is Alan. I'm from Jalapa, Mexico, and this is my second year USC. I'm in the general BME program, and yeah, this is my last semester. I'm graduating this May.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining. If any of you in the audience have questions for Sharanya, Alan, or even William or myself, please do feel free to ask in the Q&A. I guess I will go ahead and start off asking the students, what factors did you take into consideration when selecting USC as your choice for your master's program? Alan, maybe you can go ahead and start.
Okay. So for me, it was a really hard decision to make, but at the end, I decided USC because of the opportunities that I could pursue on campus. So I found out this research lab where I'm still working at, and they offered this track that I'm really into, and it's about bioelectronics and biorobotic systems. And yeah, so that was mainly the like the this main reason that I decided to go to USC. And besides that, besides the research experiences, the location, whether a lot of activities out of school, you can find like many options to have fun and try to relax, and yeah, that's why.
That's great. Thank you. Sharanya, if you'd like to share.
Yeah, mainly it would be mostly the same, but then yeah, when I was considering USC, one was the research that were taking place in our labs, and that is something, it's very new, and uh, it's really nice. And the other one was the courses that they offered. And for me, the one that I was very particularly interested, and one thing that I really wanted to do, which I'm taking this semester, was the nanomedicine and drug delivery, which I was very particular about. And so that was the major reason I chose USC, and also the location. It's LA, the weather, is amazing. So yeah, that was one.
That's excellent. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, if anyone has questions, feel free to ask. I'll ask another question. In terms of housing, a lot of times, that's stressful. Where am I going to live? How did you both find housing?
Yeah, so I live off campus, and I did find all these groups in social media like WhatsApp, and there I could find like people posting, mostly were the graduate students, those who were graduating, they were posting, that they have rent over here, and then that's how I met my roommates as well. So I found my housing over here, and yeah, it's been pretty nice.
For me, I used this platform, Unibody, from the ambassadors, and through them, I got to know the USC housing opportunities, and I thought that it was like the convenient option at that time. I'm still living on campus. It's pretty close to the campus. I don't have to take a bus or metro, so I just walk to campus every day. It's like 5 minute walk. So yeah, I live on campus.
Very nice. Thank you. Maybe you can, either of you can just kind of put you on the spot. If maybe what's, one thing that you wish you would have known prior to coming to USC or even Los Angeles, that now that you would give advice to someone?
I can go ahead and maybe just like the general recommendations. So like the area, USC area, it's mostly safe, and unfortunately we have like this DPS security within a specific radius, as William already mentioned at the beginning, and you can walk with friends and you feel safe. Fortunately, I haven't had any bad experience so far, and you can feel that you are like in a college uh, environment. A lot of students every day. Right now we have a spring break, so it's like uh, ghost ghost town campus, but it's a nice place, and yeah, so that will be like uh, be cautious and always like try to see your surroundings, and yeah.
Yeah, that would be the same too. I would like to add on to the lift services that we have, and it is really helpful. Like, trust me, I stay like a mile away from campus, and it helps me so much. Like, probably after college hours, and then I have to come back home late at night, or probably after I have to go to the library. I just book a lift and I go, and it's been really helpful for me. So that is one thing you guys should consider.
Oh, that's so great to hear. All right. We have one question in the chat. How often do you meet with, your advisor?
Yeah, for me, I usually have like 2 meetings before course registration with Daisy, but also I do have some maybe like spontaneous meetings with William. He's been so pending about our progress, so I always like have these informal meetings, like randomly. But mainly with Daisy, yeah, I usually have like 2 or even 3 meetings, like for course registration or just like looking for guidance within the program.
Yeah, it's the same with me. So I do meet up with daisies before the course registrations so that I get an idea on what my semester looks like and how I can plan my career ahead of this. And also in the first semester, I was really scared because this is a new education system for me. Back in home country, it was a different education system. So I had a lot of questions before starting the semester. So I used to just book an appointment with Daisy and ask her a lot of questions and do. And also we have tea times, like William mentioned. So I used to just talk with William during the tea times and Daisy and the researchers, PhD people over there. And they did help me guide me through the first semester.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining. One final question. It is 6 o'clock, so I don't want to take too much more of your time. What's your favorite study spot on campus?
Oh my God, I think I should go ahead with this. I have so many. I just love studying at campus. Personally, for me, Doheny, I just love the Doheny library. I would call it, it looks mostly like a Harry Potter. It's straight out from a Harry Potter movie. It's just amazing. And also we have Levy and it's 24 hours. So we have it all the time. And then during exams and stuff, I just go in there, study, and then probably in the morning, early morning, we still have lifts operating. So I just take a lift and come back home, and it's super safe, trust me, with that. So yeah, Doheny is my personal favorite.
All right, William dropped a link in the chat for those interested in what want to see what the magicalness that Doheny has. Alan, do you have a favorite study spot?
Yeah, I will say it's also a library, but it's IPA library, International Public Affairs Library. I do appreciate like the sunlight that goes through that library, even though that it's underground, you get like a daylight, so it's also nice. I like that one. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. I will have to say that Mud Hall Library is my personal favorite. That one is a very cool library as well. William, do you have one?
So after all the schooling, different university, I don't like studying in libraries because they freak me out. It's because I'll be studying, I don't know who's going to creep behind me, so I don't go to libraries to study. I study at home.
Fair enough.
I don't like it. I don't know. It's just like something you use the restroom. Like I don't want people to watch my stuff. Like what if they steal my stuff? I mean, not they would, but like that's always in the back of my mind. You know, I don't like studying in libraries. But all the libraries, we have more than one library. So many different types of library. My hall is nice too. It's like it's really old philosophy library. Super. Let me send the link down. There's just so many crazy things, fun facts about USC. A lot of movies are filmed here. We're the fake Brown University. We're the fake Yale University. We're the backdrop for Hollywood. So when you're here, you see a lot of tapings too randomly. Like Quantum Leap, they recently filmed out maybe 6 months ago at the Doheny Library. So they use a lot of different facade here as the backdrop for Hollywood.
Yeah.
You see celebrities walking around. Sometimes you don't even know it because they just drag in like sweats.
True. All right. Well, we've reached the point. So I want to thank everyone. It was wonderful. I really hope the admitted students who have joined. I want to congratulate you again, and hopefully this was helpful and informative to help you make a decision. We'd love to see you here on campus, but understand you have a decision to make. So hopefully this provided some information for you. Thank you again. Thank you to William, Alan, Sharanya. Thank you to my panelists. We'll be signing off now, and we'll be ending this webinar. So fight on and have a wonderful evening wherever you're